And so it just, this idea of this being the greatest joke ever is just, yeah, it's kind of like what's wanted is to know that it's a joke, because sometimes it feels like we take this so seriously.
Yeah.
And so to watch a video and to hear you share that, I don't know, it seems very attractive to me, to this idea of it all being a joke. So I like that. And the simplicity of it. And you also use the word, it being very obvious.
Yes. Too obvious. It's too obvious. That's why I can't see it. It's hide from the person who wants to see it. Because everything.
It's amazing
People,
that
people misunderstand this message. No, your message is not person is finding something. That an energy person wants to find something for themselves, dissolve, then what is left is everything.
so simple.
Yes, too simple.
Too simple.
But yeah, because we use concept and we use words and we love intellectual ideas and also beautiful saying or poem or whatever. So people try to find something in words or in message, but actually nothing in the words, nothing in the message. It's before speak everything.
And sometimes it feels though as if so as there's words coming out of your mouth, and even as there's words coming out of my mouth, the obviousness of what is unchanging is still present. I don't know what else word to use, but it seems like that seems to be obscured when perhaps these conversations are not happening.
No, actually, it's not. It's too obvious because the way you that the people think that unchanging something is still imagination. Nothing to do with imagination. It's too obvious, just too obvious, which is nothing to do with imagination. Nothing to do with the idea of unchanging, or it just can't. It's hide from person who wants to see it because person is there. Person sees things through veil of dualistic. So what's being talked about here is nothing to do with person. It's end of the energy who wants to see.
So
I don't know if I answered or if it made sense.
Yeah, I don't know either.
It can't be spoken. It's impossible to speak about this. But still thinking happens.
Yeah, it's like, it's like why are we here? Why is this happening? If it seems like this is happening for a purpose, but really that isn't true.
No, yeah, there's no purpose. Yes, and also nobody's speaking. This is really this is amazing. It's nobody's speaking.
So what is there? Is there anything to be aware of that, and what is there anything to be aware of that?
No. if something aware in it, then doesn't need to. It's just happening. What is happening is not doesn't need to be aware because it's just there. The idea of awareing something is human idea. Because a human belief, human person exists, that self exists, and they have control, they're doing something, they're experiencing something. That's why the idea of awareing something happens. That's dualistic.
It feels like this.
It feels so.
Yeah. And so there's an appearance, though, of there's an appearance of getting something in this seeming process of awakening. Like it seems like even in my imagination, I can say or that there's an experience of waking up that seems to appear, but everything that you're pointing to washes that away as well.
Yes, because the person never gonna wake up. For example, the person is as illusionary as how do you say? As illusionary as the character in the dream.
Yeah.
The character in the dream never wake up. When that dream disappear, character disappear. That's the waking up. It's not character waking up in a dream. Character in the dream never gonna wake up.
Very
Exactly
depressing.
the same. Yeah. Exactly the same. Who we think we are, it's as illusionary as the character in the dream.
But there seems
So we just
there seems to be though a waking up happening, or it could be, it's all imagination as well, I guess. But it seems like there's an appearance of people who have woken up. You have the story of Jesus, you have the story of Buddha, you have the story of contemporary people, and so forth. So it seems to be that there is some liberation offered or to be had.
that's the tricky part because people stuck in the story still. It means they still believing that Jesus woke up or Buddha woke up. That's the story. Nobody wakes up. That's the story. It means if it's that reality, that means person exists. Nobody exists. So what is being pointed here is there is no separation. There is no individuals. There is no... It's impossible to separate. If someone wakes up, it means there is separation. If there is a separation, it's not non-dual. There's only one, there's no two. If separate person wakes up, it's separation. It's dualistic. That doesn't happen. That's the story.
So it's always the person in imagination that has accepted the story of waking up as true or as possible. So
Yes.
So the person, so for example, a person who may see the character of Naho and say she's awake, it's only in the imagination that happening.
Yeah. People keep seeking or people keep going to the teachers because they believe that there is personal awakening. There is no personal awakening. impossible because there is no separation. There is no person. Person is separation. It's that only apparent person, apparent body, but doesn't mean there's a person, just a body. And Naho is not. Naho is only story. Naho never wakes up, never woke up. Naho never existed. That's the waking up. Nobody ever existed. Crazy. This is really crazy. This is really crazy, isn't it?
Okay, but there's an appearance. There's there's an appearance of something that is aware of that.
No. That's the still idea of someone exists.
So nothing is aware of that.
No.
Oh,
It doesn't
man.
need to be aware. Because if something aware in something, then juristic, that separation is creating uncomfortableness. That's the cause of suffering, cause of seeking. That energy, separate energy, apparent separate energy, has to seek. What people seeking for is end of separation, end of seeking. That's all they want. But people make mistake that what they want is personal enlightenment. There is no personal enlightenment because there is no separation in the first place. But they're believing that they are separate person. They feel sort of. It's not only belief.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's so funny because no matter what I say, it's always going to get pulled back to the same thing. It's like, but it's like even like there was these thoughts. The thought came up. I actually made a movie called Enlightenment or Bust, and it was it was themed around A Course in Miracles. I don't know if you're familiar with A Course in Miracles or not.
Actually, I just wanted to ask you that what you do, your background. Actually, I really don't know you.
That's okay. I don't know you either.
But I knew that I knew you. So is it you organize it? No, anyways, that's and what you do. That's the causing miracles.
I guess so.
You
It's funny because I feel completely lost these days as to what it is that I do. But it's like for a long time I've been involved with the Course in Miracles, and I still am. I teach the course, whatever that means. But it feels like I made this movie about the course, and throughout the movie, the character not only he wants to understand the course, but he also wants enlightenment really bad. Because the character searched everywhere. He searched in relationships. He searched in money. He searched in career, and nothing was really left to find what he was looking for. But in enlightenment, enlightenment was the last thing. And so this character goes off, interviewing all these different Course in Miracles teachers. But by the end, there's like a recognition that there was still suffering because there's still a seeking, whether it was for, just because it was enlightenment, it was the same thing as seeking for career or seeking for relationship or seeking for money. There was still suffering going on. So by the end of the movie, the character comes to a recognition that it's not going to be anywhere. And so that was the movie, and that's how it kind of sort of ended. But it's a movie, so it's a story, and it's entertainment. But to speak about this character's experience, after doing that movie, right now I feel like although the Course in Miracles is in my experience, I don't feel it's a very heavy process. So it's almost like there's an awareness, and I don't know if this is where I get caught up, is there's an awareness that there is no process, but at the same time there's a story about a character who went through a process, and then now I feel like enlightenment is nothing, and then there's freedom in that.
Yes, nothing. Yes, there is nothing. But what that story is, in non-duality, we use the word story so many times. Almost everybody use the word story, and if people mistake about that. People don't understand that words of story. People think my story, but they use the word it's a story. They see that they understand intellectually that's the story, but actually they really don't understand. It really doesn't exist. Story means doesn't exist, but people believe my story exists as a reality. A story is only story. It doesn't exist. But for the person, for the individual, that even they think that's a story, still they feel it's reality. That's the big difference. It doesn't exist. Means story means it means doesn't exist. But when people use my story, my blah blah blah, they feel they still feel that the story is reality for them.
Yeah, it feels like what we're talking about has no room for any of it. You can't even put a drop of it in a drop of story in there. It just there's no room.
Sorry. I got everything. But nothing wrong with the story actually. That is appearing as an appearance, because everything is appearance of oneness, appearance of wholeness, everything. There is no can't be wrong, can't go wrong. So that story of I'm waking up, or story of I'm making movies, or my experience, whatever, that is appearing apparently, but it nobody ever experienced that. It's nobody's story. It's simply appearing as appearance. So can't go wrong. Nothing need to be changed. Nothing will happen.
I think what's coming to mind right now is also because of what you just shared is there can't be cause in the story.
There is no cause. No, there is no. People believe they can change their life story because they believe in that exists as reality, even they understand it's a story, but impossible. Story can't. People, there is no person to change in the first place anyway. Lisa called me what did she say? Like a razor weapon or something. I got everything.
So there's, as I'm sitting here with you and asking questions and sharing, and this having no purpose, yet still happening,
Yeah.
and it's not happening for anybody.
Yeah.
But there's a story in mind that there is. And that's the joke.
this is a crazy joke. Nobody ever done anything, and also nothing ever happened. That's the freedom.
And it feels like there's something that wants to grab that.
Yeah, that's the energy that this is really energetic. Individuals feels that existing in a body as a person, as a body, and the senses, that sense of I am, sense of I'm here, has to move because it feels separate, and that's that creates feels not enough, doesn't feel satisfied. So try to get so many things, try to get experiences, and especially people seek for enlightenment. People want um, experience the unconditional love or endless joy or end of suffering for themselves. They want to experience it. But actually, freedom is end of the one who experience life as an individual person. That's the freedom. But it's person personal energy is want to experience. But freedom is end of experiencing. Crazy, crazy. This is crazy because apparent person live till die through experiencing life in time and space. That's why that part happening in time, through time experiencing life, is completely reality for the person. Even they know it's a story, even they understand this is without story, everything is happening, but they are still experiencing life. Feels it happening to me. But actually, freedom is end of experiencing. But but doesn't mean that this body don't do anything. This body does so many things. But there is nobody experiencing life.
And there's nothing to do. There's not and there's It's like there's nothing to do to get what you're saying, or to there's nothing to do to get what you're saying. Not that you're even saying anything that needs to be gotten. I don't know if I'm making sense now.
No. But actually, that's the most difficult part is there is nothing and everything. And there is no separation. But person only can think, only can feel, only can experience as separation, as individual, through the veil of dualistic. In the person only live in the dualistic world. But what person seeking for is end of dualistic world, which is end of person. But person is only illusion, doesn't exist in the first place. So the idea of nothing to get, idea of what I can what I can do is completely wrong because completely wrong because nothing need to be happen. There is no individual. It just already everything already already. And this message is nothing to do with person. But people take this message as personally. This is not personal message. It's not happening to person because there is nobody. So in Japan we have Zen and Buddhism, and the Buddhist monk is sincerely want to help people and try to teach, and they still believe there is personal enlightenment. And but as soon as teaching happens, it's away from because from because it's already teaching creates seeking. I mean, like a seeking is already happening, but it makes it creates endless seeking because there is nothing more. There's nowhere to go to. There's nothing to get to. It's happening in the story. Teaching is only story because nothing to learn, nothing to teach. Because already can't go anywhere else.
And there's something about what you just shared, like that this idea that there's nowhere to go, like it like that, like when you say it feels obvious. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Like there's something very obvious. I hesitated a little bit because there's also a part of me that wants to say that I can see that, but I can't see that. But it's obvious. And it's kind of like this idea it's like enlightenment being nothing. It's there's when there's nowhere to go. There's see, I can't even begin to talk about it because I can feel myself already wanting to make it something.
Yeah. The big difference is this is even though person understand there is nowhere to go, nothing to do, is still someone's still understanding the idea of nothing to do. That's not what I'm saying. It's not being talked about. It's nothing to do with the idea. Because person only can see veil of joy. It's separation. Person still experience that nowhere to go. It's not freedom. We are so used to hanging on or relying on ideas and how to say, it's there is no manual what to do, or whatever is happening, that is it. Whatever is happening, that is it, for nobody.
For nobody.
Yes. What is happening? Life is happening, but life is not for happening for somebody. That's dualistic. Only there is life. But individual feels happening to me.
And feels
That's
that
the suffering.
and feels that there's choices.
Yeah. As soon as the individual happens, that belief, there's a sense that person can do something, or with own will and choice and control. But that's the story. That's the um, that's not happening. um, Human completely living in um, another reality, which is not really happening.
When you
For the
say
human,
when you say another reality, what are you referring to? Another reality in terms of like enlightenment, or another reality in terms of the imagination story, or
yeah, conceptual, dualistic reality, which is human live, which um, animal and other thing doesn't live it as like a human, doesn't live like human. Um,
and in that imagination, it feels like there's always that me.
Me,
In that world, that imaginary world, if it feels like
uh-huh.
there's the me.
Yeah, feels because apparently a person has been living as a body since we are baby, means since we are child. So feels really someone exists here, and each time when you meet somebody and everybody else living as that also, like as a body, it's completely um, living in conceptual reality, and it become energetic. That separation become energetic, and feels experiencing life as a person, as a body, and everything happening to, because in everything is a dualistic, because as soon as person born, then dualistic happen, dualism happens, because that's the separation. So whatever that person, as soon as the person's there, everything happening to the person feels so, feels happening to me. But that is only happening in human reality, which is like a story, which is not really happening. But for the person, it feels so real.
And there's
It
no
really feels.
there's no answer for the person.
Yeah, there is no answer. There is no answer anywhere. If there is an answer for nobody, which is what is happening, which is what is. That's because that's all there is for nobody.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Crazy, crazy.
It's like I don't. I mean, I guess it's energy. I don't know.
Yeah, everything is energy. But when that some person sees things, looks separate, looks individual things. When person sees things, can't see that's the energy. Only energy. People can't see that. Because a person exists, individual exists as a thing, as something. That's why everything what people see, everything is something. But there is no thing.
It's funny because it's like, oh, I mean, when there is nothing, when there is no thing, there is no person, because the person is defined by things. Like,
Yeah, sure. That's what's being talked about here. But people mistake because they want to find individual enlightenment, personal enlightenment. Where is it?
I made a movie about chasing it.
That's a good story.
You know, it's so funny. It's like the movie. The title of the movie is Enlightenment or Bust. And so I thought it was Enlighten. Now I'm realizing it's Bust. That's my second. That's the second movie I'm making. It's called Bust. It's the end. It's I'll share just some of the thoughts that come through this mind, or the energy that comes through this mind, having been defined or defining or feeling defined or what have you by being a Course in Miracles student. It's like, I guess I don't know what. I can see how the mind wants to play with this idea of how what its relationship is going to be with this teaching of A Course in Miracles. Yet, at the same time, it feels like what's obvious is, who knows, it was never for me or anybody else anyway. Regardless of what the topic is.
Yeah. I never studied A Course in Miracles. Is it the personal message? Person has to do something?
Its central message is forgiveness.
Right.
So... Which obviously makes you laugh for a lot. I mean, it feels like the idea of forgiveness is really pointing towards the overlooking of everything, but I can also feel that the question, well, who's overlooking? Who's doing the forgiving?
Yeah, and also it's not and that why those idea appears, because that reality, what is happening for the human, is only reality for human. That's why people feels believe there is something to forgive. When something happens, it really feels real. That's why they have to do something with what is happening. But actually, what is happening is not it's not really happening.
It's funny that you should say that, because the Course says, forgive your brother for what he did not do. So there's a recognition that what you think happened didn't happen. So you're not forgiving because something happened. You're forgiving it didn't happen. You're overlooking.
So there's nothing to forgive.
Exactly. So
the reason why people use the word unconditional love, which is everything, because because there is nothing un, just simply unconditionally there. It's how can judge?
Yeah, and the course says that you're not capable. The course says you're not capable of judging.
Yeah, but that I don't know, but that the as soon as message appears, as teaching or message appears, as for somebody, then creates dualistic, then person take it personally, then feels they can do something.
Right.
That's the cause of teaching. Teaching is completely dualistic because something to learn, something to I have to learn, and two dynamics. It's just dualistic. There is no control. There is nobody doing anything. Even that teaching is happening. Nothing wrong with that.
Well, you know what's so funny is, most people who watch a lot of my videos or my blog and so forth know me or are A Course in Miracles students. So
Yeah.
a lot of this sharing is, I don't know. It appears to go deeper into where the course is teaching than the course itself. But at the end of the course, it says, "Forget this course, forget the world, and come on to God, empty hands. Completely empty." So it is my
But the problem is still,
yeah
it says to somebody to forget.
yeah
There's
yeah.
nobody to forget. This non-dual message is so unique because it's not happening to somebody. That's the uniqueness of this message. All message, all teachings is always to the person, personal. It happens in the story. It's in that it, illusion.
So here's a question. So when does the story end?
Actually, it's not happening. Only appearance.
But it appears that the me energy. I've heard that used before. The me energy. It appears that the me energy sometimes is. It seems absent in some bodies, or at least not as strong in some bodies. It appears that in experience, that me energy is stronger or less stronger. And I know this is, well, I don't know anything. This story happening as I'm sharing, but there's a sense that the me is sometimes more dissolved than not dissolved. And I can also, there's also an awareness of that being a story too, but it seems to be what's appearing.
Yeah, seem to be happening, but that part is only illusion in the end. What is enlightenment is all illusion disappears. But when the person experiencing life through time, what is happening is only real and it feels so real. But at the end, when everything is gone, what is seen is everything was illusion. So apparent in time, apparent person's experience, it feels less me or less contraction or so many things is happening. But at the end, nothing ever happened because that real, but that part is illusion. So only appearance. This is unknowing. This is that seems to be happening, but it's not real. Nothing ever happened.
Is there I guess what I was gonna ask, is there a story behind the Naho me energy that existed and is no longer here or dissolved? Is there a story that goes along with that?
Yeah, in the story we could say Naho existed before, then Naho is gone. But actually Naho never existed. Naho never ceased. That's the story. But feels that part was real for the person because the person believe personal past, personal future is reality. But dualistic reality is only for illusionary, only very illusionary. It's not happening. So when Naho's story, when people ask about Naho's past, Naho's story, there is nothing to do with what is happening from here. There is nothing to do with what is happening because Naho, it never existed. So there is no sense here that the story is somebody. There is no there is no sense that was somebody here or somebody. There is nobody.
Is it fair to say there was never a sense?
Yeah. What do you mean never sense?
There was never a sense of Naho.
Yeah, there never. But before, there's a memory that when Naho was there, Naho was experiencing life, really felt that actually she was born as a really sensitive baby, and then when she was 3 years old, she saw that life is suffering. I didn't know the word suffering, but then that life is tough, life is suffering. And when she was 5, she wanted to die. That's what my mom told me. And then she was so sensitive. She didn't have any body stories or body experiences, but she was so sensitive just as in a person. She felt suffering, and she suffered a lot without any cause. And so there is memory that she was really suffering, and when she was teenager, she wanted to cut head off because she wanted to stop her thoughts. So she was really suffering. That time she felt she exists, but when that story appears, it's appearing now. There is no connection, which is never exist. Doesn't feel existed. There isn't. Never existed. Because this is timeless.
Yeah.
This is crazy,
Yeah. Yes, yes. It's like, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't even know what it is, but it's like, yeah. It's like, yeah, yeah. It's like there really is no words, but yeah. I it's like where do you? It's like nowhere to go. Like, okay, yeah. It's just there's joy in having you share with me, and I just, yeah, I'm so appreciative of you taking the time to join me on Skype. um
Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even know. It's like who I don't. Yeah, I don't even know what we shared or what we said, but I know there's a lot of joy and laughter, and I'll probably watch this and laugh some more.